Yesterday, I had a doctor's appointment at 7:30. Anybody that know me out there know that I respect time. With my doctor's appointments at 7:30, I'm gonna be there probably 6:55, right? My grandfather always taught me the value of time. He used to always tell me, you never know what you might occur out there. You know, it could be a train, it could be an accident. I'm on the way to the doctor's appointment, and normally it is so much traffic, God, especially at that time, right? Rush hour. So yeah, I'm driving and I hit no traffic. All the lights was green. I get to the hospital. It's a huge hospital. I get to parking. I sat there, right? I look at the time. It's 6:52. My appointment's at 7:30. So I'm like, look at God. This is how I know I'm getting older. I know I was born in the 1900s. So I know I'm getting older because simple stuff like that just gives me joy. So I'm getting out the car. I'm feeling good, right? Now, here's the thing. I'm so big on respect. My grandparents raised me, right? So I speak to everyone. I'm going to say good morning. So as I'm getting to the elevator, soon as, I push a button, ding, it opens. I'm like, look at God. I'm feeling good. So I get in and I see a young lady about to walk and it's about to close. So I hold it. Said, you getting in? She doesn't say nothing. So she just gets on in. I say, hey, good morning. How you doing? Nothing. So I'm like what? Because I'm big on respect. So I'm like, okay, well, are you going? You know what I'm saying? Yes. I'm like the nerve, right? So anyways, we get off the elevator. So I get to to the area that I'm supposed to be in. I sit down. Cause mind you, my appointment's at 7:30. So now I'm sitting there and I'm thinking back to how I said good morning and you didn't say anything. Now that moment started to become larger than the bigger picture. No traffic, perfect parking. It starts to overshadow it. And I'm sitting there and the next thing you know, I'm thinking about last week when I opened the door from somebody and they ain't even look back and say, thank you. All of this stuff is coming up in my head because of how I felt in that moment. So now I'm sitting there, I'm upset. So as I'm sitting in the waiting room, there's two other people in there. Now, the person that was opening up that area comes in and I see them like maneuver and stuff, but she says nothing. So we sitting there. Next thing you know, I look up at 7:30 and I'm like, my appointment's at 7:30. So I'm looking at the other people. They just looking around. I get up. Now, mind you, I'm already upset. I get up. I was about to walk to the desk. She walks to the back. So now I'm heated. I sit back down. But in that moment, I start thinking about my first encounter in the elevator. And what I started thinking was, I said, you know what? What if she left home in a domestic dispute? Now she's coming in to work because she worked there. She's in the elevator with this man. I don't know. Maybe I look like the dude. Who knows? Maybe she's in a situation to where she doesn't know how she's going to pay her rent. All of this stuff starts to come in my mind. And I'm like, you know what, God? I hear you. Because I was about to take a moment and mess up everything else that you have done for me thus far. So I calmed down a little bit and I'm like, no, it's not too bad. So now I go back up to the counter. The lady's on her phone. So as she see me approach, she goes, and sets the phone down. Now in my mind, I'm thinking, this is your job. This ain't my job. But I'm like, hey, good morning. How you doing? She says, how may I help you? I'm just here to check in for my appointment. She's looking in the system. I don't see you. And I'm like, I know I just talked to my doctor. I'm supposed to be here. But I say, okay, now here's the moment. I could have argued, but I was just like, okay, maybe I got it wrong. Sorry. You have a good day. As I go to turn around, she says, hold on a minute. She calls somebody else in the back. That person comes back. They're looking in the system. The person says, oh, you're supposed to be downstairs. And I said, oh, okay, I'm so sorry. I thought this was the place I was supposed to be. Now, the first initial lady that had that attitude, she smiles at me and she says, okay, do you need help going down there? Do you know where it's at? I'm like, no, okay, good. So boom, I go down there, go to my appointment. As I'm leaving, I see the first lady that I was in the elevator with. Now, in that moment, I wanted to say something, but I was just like, you know what? It's good. So as I start walking, she's walking this way and she says, hey, good morning. I said, good morning. How you doing? And she said, fine. And we went on. Now, I'm starting this video off with that message because some people out there, they already know the message, what I'm about to say. For others, I like to paint a picture to make things more digestible. I was going to take a moment and allow that moment to overshadow everything else that God had done for me that morning. You see, that moment of being uncomfortable caused me to go into my mental Rolodex and start remembering things from 2 weeks ago that had nothing to do with this point. But I started thinking back like I held the door. See, I ain't never holding the door, but these people ain't got no respect. It took me back there. So my question to you is, what have you allowed to mess up everything that God is doing for you now? A lot of people, when they find themselves in the jam, they revert revert back to the past. You can be having things going so right for you, and then one thing goes wrong. Or I should say, you think one thing goes wrong, and you revert back to see, this is what, this is why, this is why. Oh, I ain't got nothing but bad luck. I'm a firm believer that how you look at God is what you get from him. When I first got diagnosed with what I'm going through, in that moment, I didn't look at God as a waymaker. I looked at, God, why me? Like, God, I feel like I'm doing things right. Like, why me? So the version of God that I got was the woe is me. But after I shook that stuff off and I started thinking, you know what, God is a waymaker, then I start getting that version of God with my kids. They look at me as a waymaker. Dad, I got this issue. They offloaded on me. What are you going to do to help me? Because to them, I'm a waymaker. And it doesn't matter what else is going on. I have never let them down. So that's their version of me that they get because that's how they look at me. There's certain people in life that their mindset is every time I have a good streak, every time I'm, doing good, then boom, life be life. Oh, I hate that word. Life be lifing. And then everything starts crashing down. So guess what? That's the version that you're going to get. See, words have power, but mindset is even stronger. A lot of times you are where you are because you got a weak mind. I didn't hit no lights, no traffic, no nothing. And I was on cloud nine and I was about to allow one interaction mess up my whole day. One interaction. And there's people in life that are allowing one situation to make them go back to what God has delivered them from. Back in the day, I'm fighting fire with fire, missiles, nukes, whatever, because that's how I was. And that type of mind frame kept me stuck because I'm always trying to get you back the way that you got me and then some. But I was delaying my blessings. So what I start understanding is, yeah, there's some battles that I know I could win right there in that moment. But what do I lose? You see, for some people, being down here is where they comfortable. They like being in the mud. And they will do any and everything to pull you down with them. So here you are, God is elevating you, and they right here because this is where they like to be. And they trying to pull you and you going for one altercation. That's why I'm a firm believer. And when people say, oops, you almost made me cuss. Can't nobody make you do anything. It's got to already be inside of you. So now when I find myself in situations, what's inside of me is the lessons that I have learned. And there's so many times that I know that I'm right, but what do I lose proving my rightness? And that's how I view life now. I do not allow these moments to shape my reality. That is my message to anybody out there. There's somebody out there right now who has had a death, whose job ain't feel like it's going right. Their relationship is on the rocks. Their friendship relationship is on the rocks. And they will take that moment and it will become their reality. Because in that moment, now they're saying, man, see, when I was younger, this, that, and other. I go through the same thing. When I feel like I'm being disrespected, it takes me back to a time to where I felt like I was overlooked. And if you're not careful, you will get stuck there. So that's my message. It's a little longer today, but I hope somebody got something out of it.